Welcome back to the Scoop Podcast. I am your host, Bennett Swanson. Today I have with me is one of my former teachers, Ms. Covey. And to all those teachers out there, you guys are doing the best. You are the best. Thank you for all the work you have done. This episode is about Black history. Let's begin. Hello, Miss Covey.
Hi, Bennett.
Can you tell me a little bit about how they celebrate Black history in schools?
Well, I know for our school and many around Madison, there is the Black Lives Matter movement that began a few years ago, and we are doing activities with our students every week. And also, our school has adopted another Madison activity called Read Your Heart Out. And we learn about Black history. In specific, we pick themes each year. And this year it happens to be music. So, Black excellence through music. We've had other themes, so like the Harlem Renaissance. We've talked about famous authors, famous inventors, and scientists. So, yeah, that's what we do. And we try to keep it all alive all month and for many months, actually.
Yeah. And then, so if you don't know what Read Your Heart Out is, what what happens at Read Your Heart Out?
Well, Read Your Heart Out is actually a term for reading and celebrating National African American Read In Day. And then we also expanded when we were in session to National African American Parent Involvement Day. And basically, we would do a lot of studies about Black history for a big, giant performance. So the themes are centered around performance. And each grade level would study a chapter, let's say, and then they would perform. Last year, we did a parade, which was really engaging for all the grades, from the little 4 year olds all the way up to the 11-year-olds or 10-year-olds in fifth grade. So that was really cool. We did this parade to show what we learned. Yeah, but it's basically a day of reading, and you read books by and about African Americans, and we get parents in, and we have people from the community reading to us, and mostly people who are African American, who are black and brown.
And um I remember all those fun working that night before until 9 p.m.
Yeah,
getting everything set up.
I know. And you and your mom are very organized about those things and help with the amazing details that really made the performances and made that day special. We would also have a soul food luncheon for the grown-ups that came and the teachers. And that was always pretty special too.
The whole school was changed that day.
Yeah. Yeah. And we tried to do it usually like before a weekend. And in this case, we did it before the winter break day. There's a midwinter break on the 26th because we're all so tired after that
Yeah.
it's nice to have that day. So,
And then what can parents or kids do to get involved or get to learn more about Black history?
well, I'm a big fan of learning through books and through reading. And there are many, many, many book lists out there. And I think parents can read books, teenagers, young kids. But the more you can read books that center around our black and brown families, it will just help learn and inspire people to make a movement away from racial prejudice and away from, into equality and equity, I think.
And then how would you say about going about with getting involved in helping out with Black communities, what would you do?
Um, I guess it's not about helping. I think it's just about reaching out and being available and being there and not being afraid to make mistakes. Contact families, contact classmates, give a call, give a text. Don't be afraid, um, because it might feel uncomfortable or unusual. I think I think it's not necessarily about helping out. Really, it's about appreciating and being a part of the various cultures that we have around us.
Mm-hmm. And there are way more things that would be going on if COVID was not a thing. There's where schools will do stuff. Some schools do a big assembly, some do read your heart out, some have Black community members or um, people in office come in to speak. Do you have any recommendations for, let's say, parents, uh, people who work or people at jobs to get to to learn more about what they could do to help their kids or their coworkers?
Yeah, we made a big push to try to get Black community members to record themselves reading a story so that we could have those recordings available because it's great to see people from our own community reading. Um, and and that was a replacement to what we would do is have guests come into our building and read. Um, but I think being open to the learning that the kids are doing is one way families can help. Uh, I know that we're pushing very hard to make sure that our students see each other, see themselves in the texts that we read, making sure that our texts are diverse and culturally relevant. Picking up books like that and having discussions would be very beneficial. And if you happen to be Black, then come on in and join us in our school activities because we would love to have mentors and other people join us. Not just mentors, but just people to read with kids or hang out or, be a part of our school. We would welcome you.
Doors are always open for everybody.
Yeah, well, maybe not now in
Yeah,
COVID, but
maybe.
we could see
Yeah,
you virtually. We
totally.
would love to see you virtually. Just
Virtually.
pop in to our Zoom meetings. Yeah.
And then how do you get your how would you get students involved with learning?
Yeah. Well, we typically in first grade, um, I'm just going to say it again, everything seems to be centered around books. And so our discussions, we read a story and we might do an activity based on that story. We'll talk about that story. I mean, I can think of also like during Read Your Heart Out when we're preparing for our performance, there's singing and dancing and repetition and discussion and different kinds of performances. Last year we were decorating wagons to right to show different Southern food. Our focus was the South, and so yeah, I don't know. I think there's many ways, and it should be multifaceted because some kids are not. Some kids are more performance based, right, Bennett? Some kids
Hmm.
like to perform and do things with the computer, and some kids like to draw, and some kids like to move around, and you just have to sort of hit all those modes of learning for kids.
And on that topic about kids, what are your top or go-to books or videos about Black history for children?
Uh, yeah, well, ah, yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that. Let me just look through my things. We've read, like recently, we've read some books about Ruby Bridges and the civil rights movement that were on Epic, and they were really quite good, even though I'd never really seen them before the district had suggested them. I have typically read books like Last Stop on Market Street or The Colors of Us. Um, I love to do, I had this one unit, I think I did this with you, Bennett, where we tried to match our skin color, and we used watercolor paints and mixed different colors in order and finally came up with our skin color. And then we created these I am poems to go with these portraits. They were really beautiful. And so there are a lot of books about our skin color to read, um, to talk about that. I mean, it really does depend what you're talking about. As far as history goes, I mean, I am a firm believer that you should start with the fact that Africans came from ancient kings and queens. You know, it's not, slavery does not start their history. Their history in Africa was incredibly rich, and we learned a lot from the things that people in Africa did. So I like to start way back there and not with slavery, which is what ends up happening quite a bit. And slavery is a tricky topic to discuss with children, but it happened. So you kind of just need to be open and honest about the history. Um, yeah, I have some other favorite books about drawing. We just, there's a woman named Vanessa Brantley Newton, and she just did a YouTube podcast for all of Madison. And she had us do this cool art collage. I have it right here. She had us do this, and it was so much fun. And my students did it with her, and they were working on it all day, even in our meetings later on. And she wrote a book of poems. And one of her favorite poems that she wrote that I loved was called Paper Chain. It was really beautiful. But I just find books are really great. And so whatever the subject, I'm cool with them.
Do you recommend any like crafts or art projects to do at home?
For the kids. Well, I think there are, like, if you checked out Vanessa Brantley Newton's YouTube, she has it, and you can watch her do the collage and then do it with her. So that's kind of a cool art project, and it's already up on YouTube. Like, I think it's called Kids something, Kids TV or something. So anybody can access that. Um, there's a really great book called David's Drawing, and it could be a cool project at home where David comes to school and he makes this drawing, and all the kids have ideas for what they think she should add to it, and he ends up making a picture that they can add to. So it'd be kind of cool at your house to have each family member add something
Yeah.
to a picture. Um, yeah, I think like the last stop on Market Street is a great idea about service learning, and maybe having your family get out and go do something for other people, to give to your community. Um, yeah, there's a really good book called The Undefeated. It's kind of tricky though, and it's about all of the deaths by police officers. They're in there, a bunch of names, um, and it talks about through history how um, black people have been pushed down, but they're not defeated. So it's a pretty powerful story, but kind of tricky for first grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More age
Yeah,
or
probably. But I mean, I tried to teach it with first grade. It's just, I think a lot of it just goes over their head. They recognize some names though. So,
do you are there any videos or um speeches you would tell families or people to watch?
um, yeah, I, I don't know, grown-ups, if grown-ups want to, they can find some really cool videos on Netflix and Amazon. I don't know that they're all for kids, but it's really hard to find movies and videos with black characters in them, and so um, that would be something that you should try to strive to find. It's hard, like the new Spider-Man. It's the cartoon feature of Spider-Man. Is it called the something verse, Spider-Verse maybe?
Yeah.
But the character is
Soul.
black. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Soul. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I
There's
thought for a while like the Frog Prince or
Princess and a Frog.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
Princess.
it's I'm not sure like
Mm.
it's got, they portray some characters kind of, funny, like not quite black, and so I don't know. But
On Disney Plus, they have a whole tab full of just new African American, Black history. They have some like celebrities who've talked about their past and being a celebrity, a Black celebrity, or an actor, an actress.
cool. Yeah, I feel like at first when I was first learning, like I was trying to find a lot of videos and movies to give me snapshots into culture and life that I don't experience myself. I know also some of my colleagues, they started subscribing to certain news media that was black centered. And so that kind of helped them to learn more about the culture and be more aware of issues in the community. So that's Miss Betsy. She did that. She always suggests that we all do that. So
Huh. Anything else you would like to add?
I don't know, Bennett. I don't think so. I I think you're amazing, and I'm so proud to be a part of this. So thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome. Thank you for listening to the Scoop Podcast. I will see you next month for the next episode. Bye.